Hey guys, it's Ben with Functional Chiropractic Rehab, here bringing you some info about foot and ankle pain. Today, my big thing that I'm going to tackle for you is talking a little bit about how to choose a good shoe for you. Now, everybody's got a little different considerations when they go to pick out shoes. Some people need those steel toes or composite toes. Other people maybe need a little bit more fancy dress shoe. It needs to be really polished up or something else. You're going to have those things here with any given profession or anything that you do. You might have a certain type of shoe that you need for that activity, and that's fine. But really, I want to give you some overarching recommendations and some things that you can look for in any given shoe to say, hey, is this going to be a good shoe for me? Or is this going to be one that might kind of lead me down a path towards having some foot and ankle problems in the future? So the first thing that we want to consider when we're looking at shoes is just thinking about a foot in general, right? A foot has a whole bunch of bones, a whole bunch of joints in it. There's really going to be a heck of a lot of movement and play there. And so the big thing that we want to look for is flexibility. The second big thing that we're going to want to look for is we're going to want to look for it being pretty flat. We want the backside, the heel to touch the ground. We also want the toes to touch the ground. So our knees nice and straight above, and it's not arched backwards like so or arched forward like so. After we look at those two things, we want to look at a shoe that's foot shaped. And by foot shaped, we mean enough room for those toes to spread out and not be jammed into a tiny little corner like that. Okay, so we're looking for flat, flexible, and foot shaped. I'll give you guys a few examples of shoes that maybe don't quite fit those qualifications, and then show you a shoe that does fit those qualifications. So first off, we have kind of this flashy high heel, right? And I understand these heels are maybe nice to go out downtown with and hang out with the friends for the night. And I get it, that's okay, right? But when it comes to a day in, day out shoe, this shoe's really got a lot going wrong for it. Number one, it's sure not flat, right? When we talk flat, that heel right there, you're constantly sitting up like so. Your knee is taking a beating, your back's taking a beating, your hip's taking a beating all day long, and as well as your foot. It's got a really narrow toe, so there's no room to spread those toes out and get back to having a normal foot shape. And then, man, it's got like zero flexibility, right? You might as well just put this on your foot when it comes to flexibility. There is none there at all. Then we look at like more of a standard tennis shoe, right? A little bit wider than what we had there, but still at the end of the toe, it's going to come to a point overall. You're going to have a little bit more flexibility, but you have quite a bit of rubber here, so it's really not going to bend all that much, right? I mean, if I bend it as hard as I can get it to about there. Then you're also going to look at that flat factor, right? Look at the back side of this heel versus the front of the toe. You might be able to kind of tell, you got maybe 3/4 of an inch of foam here versus 1/4 of an inch here. It might not seem like much, but as you're standing on that tilted platform all day long for hours and hours and hours, it does start to kind of add up to a lot of wear on your joints in that one position, right? That's where we come to a shoe that is a little bit better for your feet. It's a minimalist shoe, so it's foot shaped. You can see it's really big and wide on the end here on the toes. It doesn't come to that narrow point. It's wide all the way through. It's flat as can be, right? The front and the back, I'm squeezing down there. They're the exact same thickness. There's hardly anything to them. It's just there to mainly protect your foot from being in the elements, stepping on a piece of gum, getting something on your foot that you wouldn't want, scraping your foot, things like that. Then we're going to look at the flexibility. And I'll show you with this shoe here, I know I can roll it up into a ball like that, and I guarantee none of these other shoes would be able to do that. Now, I don't think you have to go search for any specific brand of shoe, but I do think you want to look for a minimalist shoe, or if you do have those special considerations where you need a composite toe or you need a really fancy dress shoe, that's fine. Just look for a dress shoe that has a little bit more flexibility. Maybe it is a little flatter. Maybe it's a little bit wider at the toe, and so it's a little bit more foot shaped in general. Those are the big things that you want to consider whenever you're looking for a new pair of shoes. If you're dealing with any foot or ankle problems, or even if those foot or ankle problems have led to other things, knee, hip, low back, feel free to give us a call at 507-720-0302. We'd love to help you out.